Hi, everyone. I'm here today with Ben Macklowe of Macklowe Gallery. My new book has come out, The Modern Guide to
Hey.
Antique Jewelry. And Ben has been quoted in the book. He's second generation in the business, and he specializes in quite a number of time periods, but particularly in Art Nouveau. So Ben, I want to talk to you about Art Nouveau.
Let's
And
do it.
we're
I
ready.
love Art Nouveau. I was thinking of naming my son Art Nouveau, but my wife stopped me. So what do you want to know, Beth? Let's talk.
I want to know, Art Nouveau was really a rebellious time against the Industrial Revolution, and it was the artistic movement of the time period. So, as art, is it how do women engage with it today in modern times?
Sure. I think that's a great question because it was always made as a collector's style. And the thing to understand is this period, starting around 1890, you've got the birth of the merchant class and people earning a wage, many times for the first time in their family's generational history. So they wanted to spend money on something special. And the artists of this period were super excited to engage with people at different social classes. It was definitely part of the radical ethos of Art Nouveau, which is why you never see Art Nouveau jewelry with super fine gemstones. You don't see them with fine saltwater natural pearls because they were too expensive and they were considered almost decadent. They used freshwater natural pearls instead, which cost pennies. René Lalique would use a white zircon instead of a diamond. George Fouquet would use a pale aquamarine instead of a sapphire. And they particularly used enamel and other things. And so what that means is you can get Art Nouveau jewelry today made in silver and plique jour enamel. It could be very beautiful. It could be $500. You can get a piece of René Lalique for $1 million, and that is literally the range. So you can engage with it as a modern woman, first of all, based upon price. If you don't have a huge budget, you can get very satisfying jewelry in Art Nouveau, much more so than in other time periods. I think that that's one of the things that people have to understand. I tend to carry the more expensive things, the fine pieces by the famous makers, but you can definitely start a great Art Nouveau collection on a budget. Now, Louis Cartier famously said, "We make jewelry for for women who wear clothing." And obviously women dress differently now from in the period. In the Art Nouveau period, the women who really believed in this ethos wore their hair in a very specific way that covered their ears. So tragically, there are no Art Nouveau earrings. It's just one of those weird things that happened as a result of the way women wore their hair. Today, people are all higgledy-piggledy, so you can dress however you want, you can do whatever you want. And what I think is interesting is how often you can wear Art Nouveau jewelry in a very casual circumstance. Like I'm wearing just a sweater and a shirt today, and I'm wearing a beautiful pin. It's by George Fouquet. It's enamel, it's opals, a couple of little diamonds, a couple of little pearls. It's really about the design aesthetic, and that's really what matters.
Okay, so can you show us some jewels that, like, I'm just wearing, a
Yeah,
suede
let's do it.
and a sweater. Can
Yeah,
you show
sure.
us some jewels that would look good with, like
Yeah.
any modern wardrobe?
All right,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Here we go. So this is a pendant by Eugène Fayatre. It's on my website. And it is made in gold and enamel. It's $11,000. Now, for those of you who don't know Fayatre, he was René Lalique's main enamel master. So something like this is, in the world of what we do, very affordable. It could just be worn simply with a gold chain or a leather cord if you want to dress it down. And it's sort of an easy thing to wear every day. By contrast, if you're, going out to the Met Gala and you want to look different from everybody else, you wear this gorgeous thing. This
That's
is a
amazing.
plaque de cou by Henri Dubray, one of the great masters of Paris, somebody whose work you almost never see, and it's 3 butterflies.
It's
So the
so
natural world is a huge inspiration to Art Nouveau. Again, this birth of the merchant class coincided with the Industrial Revolution, which means people were moving to cities. And so a lot of people who'd grown up on farms and in sort of agrarian world, all of a sudden were living in dirty, not very naturally inspired places. And so Art Nouveau, was sort of the counterweight to that, saying like, nature is always beautiful. Let's go back to nature.
So, yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the naturalistic forms of Art Nouveau jewelry. There were some that were so pretty and delicate and fine, like the butterflies you just showed us at what museum quality, but also there was some darkness to some of the jewels as
Sure.
well.
Sure, absolutely. Let me see if I have something that sort of speaks to that a little bit. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see this, but here we have a ring done with coral, and I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, we can
Sort of,
see it right there.
yeah. And it's a woman's head, and she's actually a queen, and she's quite imperious if you could see her face, and you'll see that she's definitely ruling over her subjects, not the other way around. Now, sometimes we have much darker pieces. You'll see things with bats and octopi and women as sort of a destructive force, not just a creative force. And those are really interesting. And it shows how in this time period, there was a real shift in the way men and women's powers was going. And there was a lot of issues with it. It was coming out in the art. It comes out in Edvard Munch. It comes out in Egon Schiele. It comes out in Picasso. It comes out in the jewelry of the period. But another big influence, I think, is also Japanism and the influence of international trade. So, for instance, when you look at this piece by René Lalique, who's the master of masters,
Beautiful.
this is a Japanese spider mum,
Beautiful.
and the use of the lines, the negative space, all of this is really what Lalique was most famous for.
And didn't he also combine materials in such a way that it became, I mean, it was such an art form because he would use, like you were saying, you know, not the precious stones,
Yeah,
but
he
like
would use
moonstones and
yeah,
silver and gold and
and glass.
together.
And
Yeah.
he used glass. I mean, just the idea that he, and actually this piece, even though this is an opal in the center here, it has a glassy quality to it. It's not what an opal dealer would say, ooh, this is a super valuable opal. But in Lalique's hands, he played with the transparency of it, and it was just a piece of perfection as a result. And yeah, he loved using non-traditional materials. He really believed that jewelry had to escape the commercial aspect of the value of the gemstones. And that was very radical. And so, you know, when you look at a good piece of Art Nouveau jewelry, no matter who it's by, it's going to have those certain qualities where sorry, I'm just pulling out something else for you to see, where the feeling of it is really about,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, about how it looks. I'm trying to get this in the light. I'm sorry. This is by a much lesser known maker by the name of Briqueteux, but it's got actually a brickwork pattern of opal in the back, but it's really all about the enamel work. And so you can imagine again a modern woman just throwing this on with, you know, jeans and a leather jacket over a white t-shirt and looking super sexy and not like everybody else. And I think that's what's nice is, you know, in this age when anybody can get anything if they can afford it, true luxury is something that nobody else has. And of course, the luxury goods company know this, which is why they create this false scarcity of, you know, you can't get a Birkin bag and you can't get this watch and you can't get that. But real scarcity, real luxury is things that can't be made again. And this is the jewelry that just can't be made again.
And so I have probably one last question for you. Art Nouveau really was born in France, but it did come over to the United States.
Oh,
we had some
absolutely.
wonderful makers like Marcus and Company, right?
Yeah.
Besides Louis Comfort Tiffany.
Here's two wonderful rings by Marcus. This one with opal, this one with peridot, but both really about enamel and about unusual form. And they're fantastic. I love Marcus and Company, and I'm actually contributing to a book that's being worked on about Marcus as we speak. It's going to take a while, but stay tuned, everybody. We'll get there. Here's another great piece of Marcus, very Mughal influenced, with opals and green chalcedony. And you mentioned Louis Comfort Tiffany. I've only got one little Tiffany brooch right now, but I do have it, so I'd love to share it with you. And oh no, these are Marcus cufflinks. Sorry, this is not what I said I was going to do, but here's Marcus cufflinks. Yummy.
Yeah.
Those are totally yummy. But then last but not least, and there was a lot of jewelry made in Newark, New Jersey. Again, in the world of gold jewelry, very affordable. So you can get things by Worldly, Alsop Bliss and Company or Kremens, and you could find a nice piece and it's $2,000 and it's gold and gemstones or gold and enamel. This is a piece of Louis Comfort Tiffany, and you could see it's opal. But if you see the brown around it, it's actually opal in its host rock, what's known as the potch or the matrix. And so Tiffany took it, just like Lalique, a piece of opal that his father's firm, Tiffany and Company, would have never thought of using in a fine piece of jewelry, and turned it into a work of art. And to me, that's what's so great about this time period.
Well, I really thank you for being here with us and
My pleasure.
for sharing your
Let's do it
information.
again. We just scratched the surface.
I know we should talk a little bit more about and other time periods as well that you
Yeah.
specialize in.
We sell everything from early Georgian to almost new. If it's beautiful, it's here.
And hopefully one day I'll see you in person again soon.
I think so. And everybody watching this, buy Beth's book. It's really good. You'll
Oh,
enjoy
yes,
it and you'll learn a lot from it. It's a
best book.
fantastic book, and
I
it has been
have
a
my
labor
one
of love. Look how pretty that is. Woo!
my one preview copy,
There you
but
go.
it will be on Amazon. It's for pre-order now, and you will be able to get a book. So buy one, and you'll also get some wonderful jewelry photographs and words from Ben in it. So just buy the book.
Happy to participate. Thanks so much, Beth.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben. Nice to
Bye
see
now.
you again. Bye.